one of the things we see, so we have, because we work with 43 carriers, we have the ability to see what the requirements are. And so we threw all of the various requirements into like the big witch's potion. We stirred it up, and these are the 5 they all require. So, and again, remember knee jerk. They're knee jerk here, right? And so these are the knee jerks that they've all require. But when you look at them, you're like, yeah, all those make sense. But I understand. Don't flame me. Some of you are looking at this like, yeah, but what about like, cybersecurity baselining? What about asset control and data flows and incident response? Yes to all of those, right? So I'm not saying these are the onlys. I'm just saying these are the ones that insurance requires. So first one's MFA everywhere. And let me say something about this. Sorry, Miss CEO, you don't like MFA. It disrupts your business process. Too bad. Got to have it in place. Cyber insurance requires it. It's too important. And by the way, it's not as disruptive as you remember, right? It's not going to, it's only for new events. So let's put it in place. Now, the big question people get is what happens when the carrier says, do you have MFA everywhere, including like routers, switches, and firewalls? And you're like, that's not a thing. So keep in mind when those things happen, those are opportunities for you to disclose. And what you always want to do, make sure you're listening. If you've been like doing other stuff, tune back into me for a second. What you really want to do is anytime you have a question in the questionnaire, and you're not sure of something, or the client's not sure of something, that's your trigger to get a Word document open, or a lot of the applications have a notes form, pop in some notes and disclose. We do have MFA everywhere, but not on our routers because that is a feature that doesn't exist. Period, enter. Disclose those things, because when the carrier reviews it and they're going through their underwriting and they see that and they decide to bind with you, you're good to go. You've disclosed it. Where you're not good to go is you just say yes, and then you didn't disclose something to them and they feel like you misrepresented. Don't get into that situation. So in those scenarios, just disclose. Okay, so that's the first one. Second one, this is your wheelhouse. Immutable segregated backups. They want to make sure they're off your network, and they want to make sure that no one can log into them and delete them other than the retention policy. So you should be good on that. No problems. EDR and next gen AV. I don't like the term next gen AV. I've never liked it, but carriers still use that dumb term. It doesn't really mean a lot to me, but EDR is a big deal. Hear me on this. Huntress is an EDR, and they're an awesome one. So they fit the bill. You will sometimes run into carriers. They make you do the drop down list, and it's like, Sophos, InterceptX. It's like, Carbon Black, CrowdStrike. You're like, those are all like enterprisey ones. What about Huntress? Pop it in there and you won't have a problem with it. And if you do have a problem, we'll go talk to the underwriter and be like, look, Huntress is awesome. Here's what they do. And 100% of the time, the carrier's like, okay, cool. We need to know that. So use a good EDR. There's no reason you shouldn't be using Huntress. They're just awesome guys. And they are an EDR. Sometimes people ask us about that. Patching and vulnerability management. So this is pretty simplistic from the carrier side. They're mostly just saying like, hey, look, are you at least scanning for vulnerabilities and patching the criticals within 30 days? If you're doing that, you're good enough for now. Expect that to get more mature over time, but that's at the minimum. So you need to have that ready to go. And then cybersecurity awareness training. You got to be doing that. I think you guys have curricula, which is an option. So reach out, and you got to start doing that. Again, they're going to want to see, here's what most of them will ask is, are you at least scanning, at least testing like annually or twice a year? But if you're doing monthly, that's the right cadence. So you need to start building all of that in as well. So those are the 5.